11 creepiest things ever caught on security camera. Number 1. A doctor talking to a ghost. I work as a nurse in a hospital in the UK and was on a night shift that was particularly quiet. Some of the nurses were sitting around telling this story. A young doctor was running to crash call. Our hospital is a giant L shape with the front entrance being at the bend. A woman stopped him and asked him which way the exit was. He directed her and kept running. When he got to the patient, it was the woman who asked him for directions. She died. Apparently it got caught in the CCTV that the doctor stopped running midway down the hallway and gestured towards the exit while saying something to no one in particular. Creepy clowns in Florida. In 2014, a creepy clown epidemic gripped the world. Clowns were everywhere, so it's no surprise that more than a few of them were captured on security cameras. Multiple clowns were caught on video from Florida in the USA and are extremely terrifying. They walk right up to the home's front doors and look straight into the cameras. Local news stations, such as News4Jax, got wind that these videos are likely friends pranking other friends. People they know wouldn't get too scared, but still, the videos circulating the internet aren't for the faint of heart. An angry ghost at a 200-year-old school. One school in Cork, Ireland, released terrifying security footage of paranormal activity that took place in a hallway overnight. "If it's a prank," said Aaron Wolf, the school's principal, to Unilad, "we don't know how it was done. Motion sensors were set off at this time, and that's how it was caught." Video features every horror story standby, slamming doors, flying objects, and even a wet door sign floating about before smashing onto the ground. If you dare, watch the following video. A face at the door. Between the hours of around 12 a.m. and 4 a.m., one Reddit user received 4 notifications from his smart home app that his doorbell had detected a visitor. When he checked the doorbell camera the first 3 times, nothing appeared. He figured it must have been a stray dog or cat setting off the motion sensor. But with the 4th notification, a face showed up on the screen. A disappearing bike. I used to have an apartment pretty close to my office. The office building was kind of off on its own relative to the city's commercial district. I sold the apartment, and before moving into my new home, I left my bicycle chained to the building's bike rack. It was only going to be there for a few days in that no man's land before I was able to move into a new place. Anyway, one day in the middle of the week, I come to the office, walk past the bike rack, and notice that it's completely empty. The building has a bunch of security cameras, and one more or less is facing the bike rack. I sit and watch the security tape with the IT guy. We're watching. See everyone leave the office the night before. See the bike. Still keep watching. Then all of a sudden, poof, the bike is gone. We slowed the tape down and it seemed like when you're watching digital cable or satellite and the image gets garbled. Literally, it was a bike there, then poof, gone. In the tape's timestamp, it literally happened in 1 second. I assume my bike got taken to the upside down. A masked man trying to get inside. In the span of 1 week, a masked man tried to break into one US home 3 times. Fortunately, the home had a video doorbell installed and was able to work with local police to get the would-be crook behind bars. Still, that doesn't make the image of the intruder's face any less terrifying. He's somebody who's going to come into the house when we're home, and I don't know what his intentions are. Homeowner Sandy Gerber told local news channel WSFB, "It's the unknown that's more frightening than anything else." A strange man and frozen footage. I used to work at a place which was required to be manned 24 hours a day. Anyway, security is kind of tight. Bars on windows and multiple locked doors to get to where I am. They would give me work to do during the night, but underestimated how quickly I could get it done. So now it is getting to be the last third of my shift when all of a sudden I hear a door close. I look at the security camera and see somebody walking down the hall towards my room. At first I thought it was just somebody that came in early, so I turn around and wait for them to come in. But nobody came in, and the hairs start rising on my back. Now this isn't really a big building, so I figure I'll find the guy wherever he is. I start checking offices and storage rooms, but eventually come up empty-handed. However, I do see that the fire door had shut. I go to try and rewind the camera, but the digital recording is password protected, and I don't know the password. Anyways, the whole thing freaked me out. The way the person was walking down the hallway, like a determined walk to right where I was. So I sit with my spine tingling for the last couple hours of my shift, and finally people start coming in. My replacement shows up and I tell her what I saw at this point. I figured I must have imagined the whole thing. I'm told to go home, and the manager and the girl who replaced me would look over the camera. After getting home, I call my manager and ask what was on the camera. So they said that the video showed the fire door closing, but then the video froze for an hour. The next thing it recorded is me reopening the door. An injured intruder. I had been living with my godparents at the time. It was around 6 p.m. and my godfather gets back from work. And he asks why there is blood near the pool in the backyard. I had been in the room right next to the pool the whole time, so I had no idea what he was talking about. We pull up the security footage and it shows a man jumping the fence in broad daylight, cutting himself with the barbed wire, and looking for ways to get into the house to the back. I was maybe 10 feet away from him at one point and did not hear a thing. Scared to think that what could have happened if a window was open. A person who never left the house. Last week we had to call the cops when my girlfriend's cell phone was stolen off the porch of our apartment, which is a room sectioned off on the first floor of an old mansion with a fenced-in balcony. Officer asked to see the surveillance tapes, and the maintenance guy let us come along and watch to help with the time frames and narrow down the footage. Unfortunately, we never saw the person who took her phone. Right about the time we expected to see someone grab the phone, however, we did see a man who was not a resident. There were 4 of us and we all know each other. He just appeared to be running from something frantically and at full force entered the front door of the building and never leave, even after over 24 hours of footage. An elevator meltdown. When guests of the Hotel Cecil in Los Angeles complained of low water pressure in their rooms, employees went up to the roof to check out the hotel's water tanks. Instead of faulty wiring or a broken pipe, they found the dead body of Elisa Lam, a young woman who'd been traveling alone. Police deemed her death a drowning, but before she died, Lam appeared in some odd security footage taken in an elevator. In it, she seemingly speaks to someone, presses all the buttons, and peeks her head out as though looking for a person she's scared of. The video has been scrutinized by law enforcement and conspiracy theorists. Here's the video for you to see what happened. The image of a wounded man. I edited together the footage from the security cameras outside pools before, during, and after the shooting, though there were many sad and or disturbing things to be seen. The strangest one was a wounded man that appeared out of nowhere. He waved his hands for help and the cops came over and carried him to safety. I tried numerous times to rewind to find out where he came from, but he was just there, or he wasn't. He didn't crawl to where he had gone. He just appeared. He looked like he made it out okay.